I'm all in for President Trump. I think
good.
I expect he'll be our nominee. Yeah.
Donald Trump uses war rhetoric domestically. He has only ramped up his attacks on everyone he thinks is against him. And yet you have Speaker Johnson visiting him.
Yeah, basically what we understand is obviously there is a circus that's taking place in Congress. We don't have adults that want to govern. Damn! Instead, we have a bunch of clowns that have decided that they want to bend the knee to this twice impeached 91 indicted. And I'm going to go ahead and say most likely soon to be found guilty criminal.
Got him. We fucking got him.
It's a week after Thanksgiving, and I'm sure we're all stuffed from our $80 turkeys that Fox News says we are feasting on.
I mean, we went to go buy a turkey today. It was $90 for a turkey.
We're at the lowest prices now since Thanksgiving of 2020.
If you have some room, I want to serve up something delicious, courtesy of Meidas' mighty favourite Jasmine Crockett, as she appeared on MSNBC over the weekend, where she was asked to speak on the matter of Speaker Mike Johnson bending the knee to Donald Trump, and well, she didn't stutter, not for a single second.
The president would use war rhetoric to prepare a nation for war against another nation. Donald Trump uses war rhetoric domestically. He has only ramped up his attacks on everyone he thinks is against him. And yet you have Speaker Johnson visiting him. Your take on the message the speaker is sending to Trump, to members of Congress, including yourself.
Yeah, basically what we understand is obviously there is a circus that's taking place in Congress. We don't have adults that want to govern. Instead, we have a bunch of clowns that have decided that they want to bend the knee to this twice impeached 91 indicted. And I'm going to go ahead and say most likely soon to be found guilty criminal of one of these many cases that he has pending. It is absolutely anti-democratic what we see going on. The fact that we are ignoring the will of the people and instead doing everything that we can to appease someone who literally does not have our benefit at heart. And it's disheartening. And I understand why people are frustrated with politics when they see this kind of showmanship taking place. Alicia, I have represented my fair share of people in court. There is no way I could ever have a client that would be half as ridiculous as Donald Trump and not tell that client, your butt is about to go to jail because the judge is not going to play with you. He has not been locked up. They have everything that they need to lock him up, as far as I'm concerned, on contempt. And for those that don't understand, you can have a contempt action against you when it comes to a criminal case or a civil case. And in the case of the New York situation, it is a civil case, but he has absolutely violated the court's orders over and over. And because the MAGA crowd believes in nothing but harm and violence, he is inciting this violence, and now it is coming down on public servants, and it is absolutely deplorable.
And this comes as Trump took to Truth Social and expressed his want to again eradicate healthcare for 40 million people and deny coverage to those people with pre-existing conditions. Something that should be noted, by the way, he threatened to do in his first term while promising something huge, which I guess currently resides in the same fictional drawer his border wall plan is. That one that Mexico would pay for, remember?
He should explain why he didn't have Mexico pay for the border wall. He should explain why he racked up so much debt. He should explain why he didn't drain the swamp.
And speaking of the border, Trump has laid out his policies regarding immigration, from reinstating a Muslim ban to vetting those who don't subscribe to our religion at the point of entry.
To the United States. I don't think a lot of good things are going to happen. And I will implement strong ideological screening of all immigrants. If you hate America, if you want to abolish Israel, if you don't like our religion, which a lot of them don't, if you sympathize with jihadists.
And Crockett was asked about this in another segment regarding the difference between said architect of Muslim ban and President Joe Biden.
He has already talked about what he wants to do around immigration, and I'm staying in Texas because it's a border state. So are you concerned, or do you have the confidence that there are currently enough guardrails in democracy from him, going into some of these most extreme policies around immigration? What are your thoughts there?
I'm glad you brought this up. because obviously you're spending a lot of time talking about Israel. There's a lot of people that are saying, hey, we have issues with the president, talking about President Biden and his handling of Israel. And they're saying we're going to stand down. We're not going to support him. I do want to point out that Donald Trump was the one that was actually pushing forward with a Muslim ban that did not go forward because he didn't have the court of his choosing. Donald Trump has already made it clear that he wants to go ahead and re-urge that Muslim ban. So for those that believe that they have issues with President Biden, and I'm not saying that you don't have issues, I'm just saying that you should have a few more issues with the person that literally wants to ban Muslims in this country. He's already tried it before. And he said that he will do it again. If the Republicans really wanted a fix to immigration, they would be pushing forward with one right now. They don't have solutions. All they have is more problems for the American people.
And here's the thing. As hard as it is, we must think critically here. Nobody is saying that just because Trump is worse, it negates how people feel about President Biden and whether you agree with everything that he's done while in office. That same approach is a one-way ticket to a repeat of 2016. But unlike 2016, where it was a battle of policy opinions, this is to do with actions. Trump has shown the American people that he puts bigotry into action. He puts prioritizing the 1% into action via his tax cuts. Thinking in absolutes prevents voters from grasping that Biden, via his action, has tackled countless progressive issues and done more than any prior Democratic administration in areas like investing billions in clean energy, the child tax credit, stabilizing a dire economy that he inherited.
Look, you may remember my predecessor promised to be the greatest job president in history. Well, it didn't really work out that way. He lost 2 million jobs over the course of his presidency. 2 million. We've created 13.4 million new jobs. We not only recovered all the jobs we lost during the pandemic, we've added millions more. We've seen record lows in unemployment, particularly, and I've focused on this my whole career, particularly for African Americans and Hispanic workers and veterans.
Cancelling upwards of $126 billion in student debt, lowering prescription drug prices, helping victims of burn pits. And these are not just policy positions, these are actions. Things that Trump will put back on the chopping block.
If I'm elected, you won't lose one plant. You'll have plants coming into this country. You're going to have jobs again. You won't lose one plant. I promise you that.
A large American factory stopped production today after more than half a century.
Make it in America, where we began to make things again, with American workers, American products, manufacturing in American plants.
President Biden is set to celebrate the new contract negotiated by United Auto Workers today at a Stellantis plant set to reopen in Belvidere, Illinois.
The main headline is Democrats continue to overperform in the Biden era. It's just, you can't dispute it. It is blowing the polling out of the water. Republicans haven't really had a good showing since Trump won in 2016.
So I'm not here to minimize the outrage that people feel or talk at them, but to try and offer some perspective. The other guy has not just proven that he's worse, but how dangerous he is.
Today, especially in honor of our great veterans on Veterans Day, we pledge to you that we will root out the communists, Marxists, fascists, and the radical left thugs that live like vermin within the confines of our country.
Because it's time that fascism is called fascism, and Americans know exactly what they're voting for.
Trump isn't hiding his authoritarian ambitions for a second term. From punishing his political opponents, to locking up immigrants in camps, to deploying the military, all while echoing the hateful rhetoric of Adolf Hitler. We know exactly what we can expect if he retakes the White House in 2024. But hey, what was it about Joe Biden's age again?
Hey, Midas Mighty, love this report? Continue the conversation by following us on Instagram @MeidasTouch to keep up with the most important news of the day. What are you waiting for? Follow us now.